What's up, people? We are back with more of Katawa Shoujo. Although the previous video wasn't really too many new things, because it was a lot of retelling of the story of how Emmy knocked everybody down and kicked some ass during the track meet. So yeah, although it wasn't something new, it was still fun for me to relive that moment once again because I'm the biggest Emmy fanboy you'll ever see. So yeah, but we're doing the Rin route here, so I'm almost certain this is gonna be some new stuff. So let's just jump right into this. Today's art club meeting is currently on hold while everyone waits for Nomiya to show up. I take this time to try and explain my theory about Yamaku to Rin. I've tried to figure out exactly what about the school feels so special to me. That concept I unsuccessfully tried to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas mature a little. Have you noticed that people talk all the time? I can't really explain it, but once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body is heavily clicked, or together clicked, I think it's clicked, and I'm only now beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks, and yet the feeling of being a part of a group is stronger here than I remember it being in my old schools. I'm trying to say that this school isn't like other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. Oh, well, whatever then. I want to pursue the issue, but at that point, Nomiya arrives. The teacher is wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily. He quickly glances over the room, then settles down a bit. Hello, apologies for being late. Is everyone present? Good. I must confess, I haven't really planned for anything today, as I have been extremely busy lately, but I'm sure we can come up with something entertaining. Anyone have any suggestions? I was thinking we could have a discussion circle, since we haven't had one in a while. I, at least, found the last one magnificently enjoyable. There are some murmurs here and there, but nobody raises their voice in support or against Nomiya. We could delve into various movements of art, or does someone have a good topic in mind? Come on, throw it out there. It doesn't matter if it's silly or odd. We can always cook up something interesting. I think this is not the cooking class. Could be wrong though. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make a suggestion. Alright, Hisao, now's the time to throw in your idea. Like, nobody else is taking a step forward, so this is our time. As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I lift my hand in the air. Oh-ho! Our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. Speak up, my boy, speak up! Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've always wondered why art exists in the first place. My voice trails off. A silence sets in the room, and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. Everybody's like, I can so relate to Hisao in this moment where you're just like, oh, I'm the new guy, I'm gonna ask a question here for the first time. And then you raise your hand, like, not in a confident way, but just like, you really want to ask this question, but in your mind it doesn't sound stupid. So you hesitantly raise your hand or arm in the air, and you're like, you got picked. And then you say the question, not that confidently either. And then after you've asked the question, it's like, uh-oh. Everybody just falls silent, thinking in their minds probably like, what an idiot this guy is. Yep, I can relate. Then the teacher bursts in laughter. Ho 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 ho, excellent. Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with a big one. Huh? Fabulous. Chuckling, he shifts some paper around on his desk for a few moments. When he's done, he appears to have made some sort of decision. Very well then, let us run with this, and see where it gets us, shall we? Oh my, Even an old fogey like me gets excited when such delicious enthusiasm is present. Oh my, indeed. Oh my god, what the hell? Why is he getting so excited? Let me gather my thoughts a moment so I can figure out a good starting point for everyone. For some reason, the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. He scribbles a few things down on a loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses with a handkerchief. He strikes a pose, then freezes for an overly dramatic, artistic pause that spans what must be a half a minute. It's so quiet that I could hear a pin drop. First, let's come up with a few questions that we want answered, such as, what is art? And why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related? The boy with sunglasses pipes up almost immediately. His voice is soft and quiet, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After him, another question comes up. If I fill a cardboard box with water and call it art, is it art? That's actually a valid question, you know, because that's how I feel about at least modern art. Like, you can just freaking take a shit on the floor, and as long as you call it art, someone somewhere will appreciate it as art. Like, that's just the degree of modern art I feel at the moment. Like, not to say that all modern art is like literal shit, but you know, sometimes you just actually see not far from what I just said, right? And that people, stuff like that being shown at the exhibits or in actual museums or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, it's modern art, you don't understand it. Like, it's true, I don't really understand art that well. Sometimes I try to, but it confuses me as well. Like, the only thing is, as far as an extent of art, I think I've said this before, like, as I know, right? It's just, I just know if something looks pretty to my eyes or not. If it's pleasing to my eyes, then it's like, okay, that's probably good art. If it doesn't, then, you know, then I'm like, what the fuck? And then, but if I like something, it's really hard to pinpoint the exact reason why I like something. It's just like, it looks pretty, it looks nice, I like looking at it every now and then, not over and over again, or stare at it intently for hours on end, but you get the point, right? It's just, I don't know, I just don't have that deep of a connection with art, I feel, as some people may have. At least not classical art. Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher. Great! Wonderful! All of these! Let me start by saying that this is not a clear-cut issue by any means, and as such, I'm not going to give any answers to you. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective. Scholars have argued about these sorts of questions since time immemorial, and there has never really been a broadly applicable consensus reached. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. Hopefully, you all should find these acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be contained to a definition from the outside, since the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something completely outrageous that challenges any and all preconceptions. The core reason for this is that rather than the rational side of the mind, art appeals to the intuition, the instinct, the primal. You would find it very hard to explain why exactly it is that you enjoy some particular style or piece. No? He doesn't wait for a response before continuing. This is exactly why. So, art is this sort of wild, uncontrollable things that lurk somewhere deep in our subconscious. Now, why does it exist? Nomiya apparently expects someone to pipe up with a guess, but as nobody dares to interrupt his inspired speech, he continues. It was a trick question. You see, art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you might say that art exists for no other purpose than itself. It's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It is the defiance of a mortal against the face of darkness, as was once said. Art is truly the proof of our existence. You all should know that human culture and civilization are tightly tied to the existence of art. Then, what about artists? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing so fickle and mysterious that it even defies definition? There are many answers for this, as there are artists, but if I had to put it into words, an artist doesn't make art because he can, but because he must. Nomiya takes a pause, and his gaze sweeps over his audience, eyes flaring with passion. It is obvious that art touches the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another. So if you are given a chance to connect with your fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not? There is a poem I am very much fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. I feel that, for me personally, of all possible things, it captures best the essence of what it means to be an artist. Nomiya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. Looking at some distant place, he utters the word in the heavy afternoon air with his soft basso voice. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. There is a solemn and unbelievably awkward silence after he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares speak a word. Nomiya clears his throat again. To be an artist is to see the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without arts, there would be not much to live for in this world. It is a most profound thing. He is clearly touched by this notion. I almost expect to see some lone tear rolling down his rough cheek, but it never comes. I turn to Rin and whisper to her, "So, how is this a discussion circle?" She shrugs nonchalantly back at me. The previous ones were the same. To his credit, Nomiya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a bit guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe we should have been spared from this. I don't know, I generally like teachers that are visibly very just very excited about their subject, you know, because that generally speaks to me as well, even if I don't like the subject. Just the fact that one person, or the person teaching us that particular subject, is really into it just sort of shows to me, at least, that there's at least something about this subject that excites that person, that really makes him like, oh yeah, this is so awesome, this is the best thing in the world. And sometimes those emotions can transfer over to you as a student as well, right? Like, sometimes I have trouble finding that particular thing that would excite me about that subject, but still, when a person or when a teacher comes across so excitedly and motivated and whatnot, it just sort of urges me and pushes me a little bit to at least try in a subject, even if I don't find it that interesting myself. When I can just feel his passion, then I'm like, alright, maybe I could at least try and find that part inside of myself somehow, maybe, I don't know. But at least it makes me try a little bit harder. That's just me personally. As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any paint or pens today, and I feel somewhat disappointed. I mean, it's better to have a sort of a passionate teacher and that's really excited about what he's teaching you than someone who's just reciting shit on the board, or just writing things on the board nonstop, or just only tells you like, yeah, do this in the book, do that in the book, do this in the book, do that in the book, and I'll just sit on my desk for the rest of the hour looking and scribbling on pieces of paper. Like, that's not really a class, I feel. So I would prefer the other teacher over that one any day of the week. Nomiya suddenly appears next to us. He seems to be still fired up from the speech he delivered. His cologne smells musky and saccharine at the same time, giving me an instant headache, even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes. He is looking at Rin like a hungry wolf. Arr. Tezuka, do you remember Mrs. Saionji, I guess, who visited us at the festival? I think so. I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display. He ends his sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting Rin to show some sort of joyous, shocked reaction at such grand news, but she just stares at him blankly. Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real chance for us to get ahead. Girl? I don't know what the pause was, but yeah. But... Now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it wouldn't be a simple affair, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if at all we even made it big. This could be the first step, and then, when the word is out, we strike while the iron is hot. Right, Nakai? Yeah, it does sound pretty great, if you're into that kind of thing. See, we should definitely not let this one pass. Am I right? I don't really... The strangest thing for me here is that, because it's Rin's painting that she has taken a liking to, right? Like, sure, he has helped, he has brought attention to, and even brought the woman here, probably, for Rin, but still, he speaks to his, like, it's a shared work or something. He said, like, this is a great opportunity for us, we can do this. But it's Rin's work, right? She's doing all the paintings, it's her work. It's not like they're both painting or something, or unless he's talking about something entirely different, but I kind of doubt that. So it comes a little bit across as he's trying to cash in on this, so you know, he's like, oh, I'm a passionate teacher of the arts, but I can't really draw art myself, therefore I shall teach art, and hope, and put all my, nurture one blessed soul that is able to be the next Leonardo da Vinci, and I shall mooch off of him, so I become rich myself. Like, it kind of almost feels that way. I don't know why I get that vibe off of him. Rin seems to be troubled for some reason. I can't figure out why. What Nomiya is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. She looks pretty down though, and confused. I haven't seen her like this. So, what do you think? Rin looks up to her teacher's glowing face, and then backs down at her desk. I'll think about it. Nomiya is at last taken slightly aback by Rin's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles widely at her, and gently pats her head. Good girl. The club meeting is finally over, and as I lazily collect my things and help clean up, I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do, however, so it's over quickly. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier, so we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomiya's passionate speech about art, and Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. What if she's afraid of success or something, or she's not doing this for success? It could be that. Like, she just doesn't like the spotlight at all, and perhaps she's even trying to shy away from it as much as possible, and this would bring her into the spotlight somewhat, right? And that's might be something she doesn't want? I don't know. Penny for your thoughts? That'd be too cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be fraud too. Like stealing a candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put on display and all that? She doesn't answer, but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along the hallway. I think I'm going to go somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do, and I'm supposed to do some light exercise. If you like. Rin leads me outside, to the wall behind the dormitories. There's a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. Oh yeah. Like this gate actually looks really lifelike actually. That's great. Wow, that's insane whoever painted this. Or drew. The gate is rusty, as if it hasn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It is not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. Wow, where is she leading me? A path leads deeper into the forest. Tall zelkova and maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in the places where the shadows fall. The forest smells strongly of earth. I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is as hot as ever. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker, sure-footed but with no apparent destination in mind. Her thoughts seem to be somewhere else. I follow a few steps behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. The path follows the land uphill at a low angle, sometimes making little detours downhill before climbing back upward. The muted brown and gray trunks line the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and other undergrowth. After a little while, I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost, but it doesn't look like we have any particular destination. My god, whoever drew these paintings of like the forest, it's incredible. Like look at this, on the left side where like the light falling onto the tree. Like this part actually looks really great, and I actually feel like I'm in a forest right now. This is amazing. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go too far that I get too tired to walk back. I'm starting to get a little winded, and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath and rest my legs, but Rin just keeps going. Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere at all? Worry tree. I see. So what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree. Like this. She stops in front of a particularly large maple tree that might or might not be the worry tree. Its lush green leaves sway lightly in the breeze, blowing through the small clearing we entered. I guessed as much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery. If you are miserable, only by people, I mean me, and the tree isn't really called anything. What? There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery. If you are miserable only by people, I mean me. What? If you are miserable only by people, I mean me. Okay, here we go with the cryptic language again, Rin. I didn't understand I didn't understand that particular part at least. But I'm guessing like a particular place where people come when they are in misery. I don't know. Oh, Rin. Don't worry. Towards the end of this route, I'll understand Rin completely, fully, 99.5%. Okay, not gonna say 100 because, you know, people are gonna put me to the test on that one. And if I get the question wrong, then I'll just at least say, that's part of the 0.5%, you know? See, I have some leeway. So, if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it? No? What? You can't talk to trees. What do you think I am? Crazy? No, I didn't mean it like that. Or maybe you talk to trees. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that you are crazy, even though you probably are if you talk to trees. Oh my god, Rin is so great. Like, I didn't mean to say that you were crazy. So she was scared that she insulted us, yet she immediately did it again after that. Like, not even, it was exactly in the same sentence. She uninsulted us and insulted us again in the exact same sentence. Like, how do you even do that? Oh my god. I wouldn't recommend it either way. People will think you are a weird person. No, just forget it. She looks mildly confused, for which I don't blame her at all. She tilts her head a little to the side, expression melting back to her usual one. Alright, I'm good at forgetting things. Hey, you and me both, Rin. So, why are we here then? Are you miserable then? I can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. She doesn't answer right away, as if she herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe I just kind of feel like I'm sinking underwater. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go. That's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like, if I go somewhere, I would know where I should go. I don't really know if it did. What? If I go somewhere, I would know where I should go. Oh my god. She is so tough to understand sometimes. So maybe it's not a big deal. I thought walking might help. If I go somewhere, I would know where I should go. So like maybe something deep inside of her, like maybe she's at a loss of identity, I feel. Like, because sometimes, like, if you're going down a path, right, sometimes, or at least most of the time, somewhere deep inside of you will speak to you and say, like, this is where you should go, this is where you shouldn't go. And even though that part of you inside of you that says, like, you should go left at this particular point might be wrong, but she apparently doesn't seem to have that or something. I don't know which part of that I'm exactly talking about, like whether it's your inner intuition or something, but it seems like she's lacking something like that, you know, something deep inside of her, or I don't know how to exactly express it, because it's a really strange thing, and it's I don't know, it's just, that's the sort of vibe I get right now. This is really weird, but we'll learn eventually, I hope. It really would have made sense if walking had helped to decide where to go. Or something to just clear her mind, and that would make up her mind on where she needed to go. But that's only if this is about the exhibition, of course, right? If it's about the choice of whether she wants to do it or not. So you don't want to try to get an exhibition, or rather, you don't know if you do? Can't decide? Rin doesn't say anything for a while, arranging her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by birdsong from somewhere in the treetops, followed by rustling leaves as the bird takes flight. Maybe. I'm not sure if I can have a thing like that. So far, I've only painted for myself. I don't think I could have my things on display the way I am now. This me couldn't do it. Her reason sounds like a weak excuse. I make my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. I kind of understand what she means here, actually. Like, right now what she's doing, right? She's just painting for herself. It's just a way of, I don't know, whether it's a form of stress release, a way of expressing herself, or if it's just something, a hobby, something to do for fun, right? But she's doing it for, let's say, her own selfish reasons, right? But if she were to do an exhibit, she would then have to paint for others, which would sort of make it a bit different, right? And I feel like Rin is really a person that needs a lot of just sudden inspiration to paint, and a reason behind it as well. Even though the reason might not make sense to anyone else, as long as the reason that she's painting makes sense to her, or painting that particular painting, then that's fine for her. That's all she needs. But maybe she feels like she needs to, I don't know. She said like the me at the moment isn't good enough or something. So maybe she feels like she needs to grow as a person as well. I don't know. But I can sort of understand what she means. Like the moment she would do an exhibition or exhibit, she's not no longer painting only for herself, but also for others. I don't get it. The teacher certainly thinks you could do it. I don't think he suggested otherwise. Sounds like he's calling in favors from his friends, too. I know. He's really done a lot for me. But this might be too much. Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I couldn't do it at all. He can't do it for me. And if I let him try, I just sink deeper and deeper. Rin stands in front of a large maple tree and turns around away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us, and I don't know, my irritation is suddenly gone, and I start feeling sympathetic to her. I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still, I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my own life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going along with the flow. Like coming here to this school. I didn't really have to choose it myself, and I certainly didn't choose this time of my life to learn what I have, this condition. I still can't casually say the word aloud. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater, like I can't even breathe. Rin turns to face me again, a sad expression on her face. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad like you. Wow, thanks, Rin. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't look sad all the time. I just don't know what I should be feeling. What kind of face I should be making. Me neither. Do I look sad now? Not really. You look like you always do, I think. She actually looks a little bit sad. Her eyes are kind of like puppy dog eyes. But I'm sinking. I should try to float. Up. Like a rubber duck. Quack, quack. All yellow and creepy. I have to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation. Then I realize that it doesn't matter. You think rubber ducks are creepy? You don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing. Like rubber ducks. And reflections in mirrors. Oh my god. I sort of understood her when she said, like everything that has eyes but isn't alive is kind of disturbing. It's a little bit weird because you have this feeling that it's constantly staring at you. Even though it's not real, I can sort of understand it because sometimes they have this really lifelike eyes or very creepy eyes. But nevertheless, it's just a little bit creepy. So I can sort of understand it if you know, look past all the cuteness of it and whatnot. But reflections in the mirror, really? That's just a mirror, like it's a mirror image of yourself, right? I mean, sure, it's technically not alive, but it's not exactly a being or anything either, right? It's a reflection of yourself. So what? Why? I don't what? Oh my god! Like Rin, the things Rin says not only makes me think really strange thoughts as well, but it's just mind fucks me over and over again. I'm just like, oh my god, I better get a freaking PhD in Rinology or something after I'm done with this. She plops down on the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down too, 3 feet apart from her. The forest envelops us in its embrace, and its stillness falls upon the two of us. We sit there without speaking for a long time. I can literally feel the time passing. Patches of sunlight litter the small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. I wonder what I could do for myself, and maybe for Rin. For now, I just keep watching her from this distance. Sometimes, she cranes her neck all the way back, so much that it almost looks painful, and stares up at the small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly ahead, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. She keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly that I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving, like she was in the middle of a distant dream. I realize that right now, I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night just before falling asleep. I might be more like Rin than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all the crap in my life, or try to change myself for the better. Her decision is different, yet the same. And unlike her, I know for sure that I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. What? You actually have the choice? I want to be more like Rin, I want to be more like Emmy? Oh my god. Well, considering this is the Rin route, I'm guessing there's only one true path to go, right? I want to be more like Emmy. Like, we've already done the Emmy route. As much as I love Emmy, we can't go there, so I guess this is an easy choice. Rin could probably do it, even though she seems to doubt herself. I have no doubts about her strength. She could do it, even if she can't. It makes me feel a little bit better too, and I lean back against the tree, breathing out deeply as if for the first time in a long time. We stay that way in a small clearing until the angle of sun changes and the chilly shadows deepen. No longer warm where we sit, we leave the forest, returning along the same path we took coming in. It doesn't seem like Rin has come to a decision. I wonder if it was bad for me to come along now. It's alright. I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks won't mind either. Did you mind? No, not at all. I think it helped me too. While we walk back towards the dormitories, okay, this actually looks a lot creepier at night. Holy crap. But I guess that's the same with real forests too. Like during the day and when it's like actual like a little bit of sunshine coming through and blue skies, and it absolutely looks amazing. But at night it's actually really creepy. While we walk back towards the dormitories, the sky is changing to a deep ultramarine. The first summer stars twinkle softly from between spots in the canopy, barely visible like tiny fireflies. I become very self-conscious about Rin's presence. I haven't thought much about girls since things fell apart with Iwanako. This is kind of the same situation as then, but to be honest, I don't really think it counts for much, not with Rin. And yet, it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't anything more than this. At first, I think Rin agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behavior, but recently, I feel like I haven't had to be on my toes as much. I've managed to let myself go a little. It makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately, I think it's more thanks to Rin than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing Rin would take near superhuman efforts just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there is this relentless feeling inside of me that I shouldn't let Rin down. It's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectations she has about pretty much anything. So, how could I even let her down? Rin has this unassuming air around her, and she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a little bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her. The realization suddenly dawns on me that Rin is basically the only person I talk to nowadays, apart from whatever I have to endure from Shizune, Misha, or Kenji. I feel slightly depressed. In front of the dormitories, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, we run into Kenji himself. Oh my god, what is this? We see Kenji outside? What is going on? Not only that, but it's the first time I feel like we see Kenji when it's not just Hisao and Kenji. Now there's actually... I think Rin is still there, right? It feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it's already dusk. I partially expect Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun. Or more like that he's acting crazy because he hasn't gotten any fresh air for like 20 hours straight or something, and then when he does come outside, he's actually acting normal. But that would be probably too weird. Kenji himself seems very insecure as well, standing around, looking like he's waiting for something, but doesn't know himself what it might be. Hey Kenji, what are you doing? Hello? Who are you? It's me, Hisao. I'm not sure if you know Tezuka from class 3-4. From his face, I can see that not only he doesn't know Rin, he also can't see her from this short distance. Oh, sup dudes? Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forward, almost straight into Rin's stomach. Oh my god, of course he thinks Rin is a guy. Rin looks at his outstretched hand in confusion until Kenji clears his throat and retracts the hand. There is something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm the most suave man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. I think I respect Kenji a little bit more. So, you're waiting for someone? He leans closer and lowers his voice to an agitated whisper. I see his facial muscles twitching. Come on, man. You know I can't talk about stuff like that in public here. They might be listening. I'm going to have to pick up some stuff from somewhere, and I don't want those snooping students council hags to get on my case. Also, I don't trust your friend. It's nothing personal. Are you sure he's trustworthy? I briefly considered telling Kenji about Rin's gender, but as it might end up badly for one or both of them, I decide against it. Yeah, I'm sure. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get the feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. However, there's little I can do now, apart from physical violence. We can resort to that, that's fine. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to humankind invented since the vegetarianism? He sounds like a vacuum cleaner salesman. I thought it was Sunday. I see you're not in the know. Yeah, man, I'm talking about man-eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can't talk here, but if you'd like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen and what looks like a convenience store recipe or receipt. Kenji furiously scribbles on the scrap of paper and then thrusts it towards Rin. Here's the password. Memorize it, and then eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, burn it, dissolve in acid, whatever. I take the receipt from Kenji as Rin is unable to do so, and I glance at it. It's indeed a receipt, apparently for 2 rice balls and 5 boxes of matches. I hope he is not planning to burn anything down. What? Such a strange combination, like 2 rice balls, like okay, feeling a bit peckish, I'll buy that. 5 boxes of matches as well, like that's just such a strange combination of 2 items to buy, you know? On the other hand, or the other side, is written just one word. Honey muffin. What? Honey muffin, really? Out of all the passwords that he could choose, it's freaking honey muffin? I show it to Rin too, but she shows no reaction. Thank you. Yo, Hisao! You still in that club? The Club of Dark Arts? Fine art. Anyway, yeah. Actually just had a meeting today. Still got your wits about you? No shady mind tricks going on? Nothing personal, man. But I have to be on top of things. Can't get caught with my pants down. Speaking of which, you should really take your showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal, man. Kenji looks around as if he heard something and then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off rapidly towards the main gate. Rin looks after him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. What's wrong with him? Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. Then why is he even running around in the first place? Oh my god, Kenji is just such a wild and unpredictable and crazy, insane character. Had to put insane in there. Oh, what? Okay, so it's this point. Well, we're gonna save this for the next video, so thank you guys so very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how the Rin route is starting to shape up, so yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace!